Two small children were chasing each other in the garden near their school. Yin and Jungkook both studied and lived in the city of Bisan. They had been classmates from first grade up until now, in third grade. Today was their last day in third grade. After the class promotion holiday, they would be entering fourth grade. Yin and Jungkook stopped running. Both of them laid down on the grass. The wind blew gently against their skin. The cloudy sky made the surrounding air feel colder. Jungkook, Yin called out in her adorable little voice. Yeah. Jungkook turned his head, focusing his eyes on the little girl beside him. To him, Yin was a very beautiful and dear friend. She was Jungkook's only female best friend. My mom said I'll be changing schools when we move up to fourth grade. You mean you won't go to school here anymore? Jungkook asked in surprise, immediately turning his body sideways. Yin nodded and turned her body too. Yes, my dad got transferred, so my mom and I have to move with him. Yin repeated what her mom had told her yesterday. Her dad was a police officer, and now he had received a promotion and was being relocated to Seoul. Jungkook's face turned gloomy. Even though he didn't fully understand what it meant to say goodbye, a reluctant feeling gripped his heart. Is it far? Yin shook her head. I don't know, but my mom said we'll live in a big city, she replied, her eyes sparkling. Jungkook stayed quiet, exhaling slowly. He sat up and helped Yin sit up too. Does that mean we can't play together anymore? He asked with a sad expression. Yin's face fell. She was also sad knowing she wouldn't be able to play with Jungkook anymore. Jungkook was her only male friend. He was kind and always looked out for her. Jungkook always helped Yin whenever she was bullied by other classmates. With Jungkook, Yin felt safe. She didn't yet understand what her feelings meant, but she knew she loved being friends with Jungkook. I actually don't want to be far from you either. I still want to play with you, Yin said in her innocent, childlike tone. But I can't. I have to go with my mom and dad. Jungkook looked at the pretty little girl's face. The small flower he had pinned on her ear earlier was still there. Jungkook gave a sad smile. I wonder if we'll ever meet again, he murmured. I don't know, Yin replied innocently. But if we ever do meet again, we have to promise to say hi to each other, she said cheerfully. That's right, we must never forget each other, Jungkook exclaimed. Yes, let's promise. Their tiny pinkies linked together. They smiled, showing their still crooked teeth. Yin and Jungkook didn't know whether they would meet again in the future or not, but what mattered now was the relief in their hearts from making that promise to each other. 6 years later, a beautiful girl walked confidently down the school corridor, her smile blooming now and then as she passed her friends. She was a friendly and smart girl, with a charming beauty that was hard to ignore. Park Yin. She was now almost 17 years old, a second-year student at one of Seoul's prestigious high schools. Although Yin wasn't the most popular girl at school, her lovely appearance naturally drew attention. Good morning, Yin. Good morning, Yuju. Oh, Yin, there's a new student at our school, Yuju said excitedly. A new student in the middle of the school year? Yin asked, frowning in confusion. It was unusual for a student to transfer mid-year like this. Yuju nodded enthusiastically. And guess what? He's really handsome, she added, her eyes sparkling. Really? How come I didn't know? Yin murmured. Yuju was a connoisseur of handsome guys. Her standards were high. If Yuju said someone was handsome, then he truly must be. Yuju huffed and pinched Yin's chubby cheek lightly. You didn't come to school yesterday. You were sick, remember? She reminded her. Yin pouted, rubbing her cheek where Yuju had pinched her. So, which class is he in now? Class A, Yuju replied quickly. Meanwhile, they were in Class D. He's super handsome, but also very cold. That's why he immediately became the center of attention. In just 2 days, he's already got so many admirers, Yuju said, amazed at how fast the girls moved. I'm getting curious. Didn't you check our school's social media? It's been buzzing. No. Yin grimaced slightly. She didn't really like checking the school's social media. Typical you, Yuju teased. She was about to take out her phone to show her clueless friend, when suddenly her eyes caught sight of the very person they were talking about. Yin, look, that's him, Yuju whispered excitedly. His name is Jungkook. Isn't he incredibly handsome? Yin stopped walking. Her eyes focused on a guy walking down the opposite corridor. His face was extremely handsome. His gaze was sharp. His steps were firm. Not even a hint of a smile touched his lips. His athletic build made it clear he liked to exercise. His face had changed a lot over the years, but Yin was quite certain that the Jungkook she was seeing now was the same Jungkook who used to play with her childhood best friend. Jungkook, Yin whispered softly. Yuju nodded. Yeah, that's Jungkook. He's really something, right? She said excitedly. Yin stayed silent. She was at a loss for words. She didn't know exactly what she was feeling. Yin couldn't believe that after all these years, she was finally seeing Jungkook again. Over these 6 years, Yin had never once forgotten him. He remained one of her sweetest childhood memories. A rush of emotions, a mix of longing and happiness, filled her heart. She wanted to run up and hug him, but she held herself back. Would Jungkook even remember her? Should she call out to him? Now, at 17 years old, Yin felt shy and awkward even just looking at him. In the past, they could play freely, without any burden or complicated feelings. But now, things were different. When Yin met his sharp gaze, her heart pounded unusually fast. She hesitated to approach. She was scared that Jungkook might not remember her. Being forgotten by him was something her heart wasn't ready to endure. So Yin simply smiled faintly and walked into her classroom before Jungkook could notice her. At the very least, she now knew that Jungkook was doing well. Yin was struggling with herself, debating whether or not to greet Jungkook. She remembered their childhood promise that if they ever met again, they would say hello to each other. And now, since she was the one who recognized Jungkook first, that meant it was her turn to speak up. So, when the break time came, Yin tried to find Jungkook. She looked for him in the classroom and at the cafeteria, but he was nowhere to be found. That's when Yin decided to check the school's backyard, and there, she witnessed something completely unexpected. "You think I wouldn't dare?" The guy sneered, his expression terrifying. Beneath him, 3 male students were already beaten up badly. They couldn't fight back. "You picked the wrong guy." One final blow, and the 3 of them were down. Before Jungkook could land another hit, they scrambled away in fear. They hadn't expected the new student to be that terrifying. Jungkook wiped the sweat from his forehead. He let out a low chuckle, his gaze still sharp. When he looked up, he was startled. Someone had seen what just happened. His body tensed. He blinked several times in disbelief. Jungkook remained frozen, staring at Yin, who stood there motionless. The girl looked terrified, her face pale with fear. Internally, Jungkook cursed himself. He still didn't move. Even when Yin quickly turned and left the area, Jungkook just stood there, watching her retreating figure with an unreadable expression. Yin walked away quickly. She kept glancing over her shoulder. She was scared. It was the first time she had ever seen a fight up close, and to make it worse, the person involved was her once sweet childhood friend. "Why did he turn out like that?" Yin muttered. She was still in shock over what she had witnessed. Fear lingered in her chest. Her Jungkook had changed, but the worst part, he was still incredibly handsome. Jungkook still had that charm, and somehow, he could still make her heart race. After that incident, Yin decided not to approach Jungkook. She would just admire him from afar. Yin found herself captivated by Jungkook, or rather, she had fallen for him all over again. Secretly, Yin often took pictures of Jungkook, whether he was playing basketball, eating in the cafeteria, walking through the hallways, or sitting in class. Yin would capture those moments. She found herself giggling at her own actions. She had turned into a real stalker now, but Yin didn't care. "I can't believe it. It's only been a week since Jungkook transferred here, and he's already joined Minju's gang," said Yuju, glancing over at a table in the cafeteria. At their school, there was a gang made up of wealthy and notorious boys. There were originally 5 members, now 6, after Jungkook had joined them. Minju and his friends, not only were they from rich families, but they were also skilled fighters. No one dared to mess with them. "What's so unbelievable about that?" Yin asked, pretending not to be interested in Jungkook. "He's handsome. Maybe he's also good at fighting." Yin deliberately used the word maybe because she hadn't told Yuju that she once saw Jungkook beating someone up. "And we all know what kind of car he drives to school," she added. Yuju nodded in agreement. "Do you think Jungkook already has a girlfriend?" Yuju asked curiously, still sneaking glances toward Jungkook's table. Yin, who was drinking at that moment, choked and quickly cleared her throat to cover up her awkwardness. "I don't know, Yuju. You're asking the wrong person," she replied, since Yin was never the type to gossip. "But with someone as handsome as him, it's hard to believe he doesn't have a girlfriend," Yin chuckled. A small ache settled in her chest as she said those words. "At the very least, he probably already has someone special in his heart," she added softly, and deep down, Yin wished that person were her. Meanwhile, at Jungkook and his friend's table. "Jungkook, do you already have a girlfriend?" Minju asked. Jungkook raised an eyebrow and chuckled. "Why? Are you thinking of signing up yourself?" he joked. Minju cursed under his breath. "Damn it, I still like girls," he replied, making the whole table burst into laughter. "Minju changes girlfriends like he changes clothes," Yoonwoo said between laughs. "In this school, He probably already has more than 10 EXes. If you don't have a girlfriend yet, Jungkook, I suggest you try approaching Yin, Jaehyun said quietly. Jungkook's eyes gleamed. Hearing Yin's name caught his interest. Who's Yin? Jungkook asked. Bam Bam glanced around and pointed. That's Yin, he said, nodding towards Yin, who was chatting with Yuju. She's beautiful, isn't she? Jungkook didn't answer. He just gave a slight smile. Why her? Because none of us have succeeded in getting close to her, Jaehyun explained. Even Minju got flat out rejected. Minju swore again when Jaehyun revealed his embarrassing story. A few months ago, Minju had confessed his feelings to Yin. He had been confident, since no girl had ever rejected him before. But to his surprise, Yin, with her innocent face, politely said she couldn't return his feelings. Minju was heartbroken, but only briefly, before he quickly found someone new. Yin is a very beautiful student. She's friendly and smart. She has a lot of admirers at school. But unfortunately, for the past 2 years, she hasn't seemed close to anyone. She politely turns down every guy who tries to approach her. If you manage to make her your girlfriend, you'll be the first one to cause a mass heartbreak at this school. Jungkook didn't respond. His attention was fully on the pretty girl who was now laughing. For a brief moment, their eyes met. Only a few seconds before, Yin shyly looked away. The girl seemed flustered. Jungkook quietly chuckled to himself. Yin watched Jungkook from a distance. A wide smile bloomed on her face as the boy she adored played basketball. She cheered softly when Jungkook scored a point. His handsome face was dripping with sweat, his shirt soaked and disheveled. His unsmiling expression only made him even more mesmerizing to the girls who were crowding the stands just to watch him play, even though it wasn't even an official match. Yin pulled out her phone. She started snapping more pictures of Jungkook from different angles. He's handsome no matter what. Yin giggled quietly. Her photo gallery was already full of Jungkook's pictures. What are you doing, Yin? Yin flinched when Yuju suddenly appeared behind her, peeking at her phone. Yin's eyes widened. She didn't have time to hide her phone before Yuju snatched it away. Wait, isn't this Jungkook? Yuju gasped. You like Jungkook? Yin quickly covered Yuju's mouth. Yuju's voice was too loud. Yin glanced around nervously, relieved that no one was nearby. Without wasting time, she dragged Yuju away from there. Yin closed her eyes tightly. In front of her, Yuju stood with arms crossed, demanding an explanation. Her teasing smile made Yin feel even more embarrassed. Damn, she had been caught red-handed. Yin felt like kicking herself for being so careless. So, Yuju teased, struggling to hold back her laughter. It's Jungkook, huh? It's not what you think, Yin protested, her cheeks now as red as tomatoes, making Yuju giggle even more. Then what is it? Yin glared at her hesitantly. She had been caught. There was no other way but to come clean. Yuju would get upset if Yin tried to lie. Yin let out a heavy sigh. It was time to tell her the truth. Finally, Yin started sharing everything. Her story with Jungkook from when they were little. Yuju blinked in disbelief. Yin's story sounded like a classic romance novel. Then why do you act like strangers now? I know him. I clearly remember him, Yin answered quickly. But I don't know if Jungkook still remembers me or not. I was shocked when he transferred to our school. 6 years is a long time. I'm afraid he doesn't recognize me anymore. Yuju clicked her tongue, annoyed at Yin's pessimism. You have to talk to him, Yin. You'll never know if you just stay silent. Yin stayed quiet, torn. Honestly, I'm scared, Yuju. Jungkook has changed. He used to be so warm and friendly, but now, he's cold. Like a bad boy. I even saw him beat up 3 students, 3 against 1, and he defeated all of them easily. Yuju exhaled slowly. News of Jungkook fighting had spread across the school. It had caused quite a stir, since it was rare for a new student to challenge some of the school's toughest guys. Jungkook and the 3 students had been sent to the discipline office and punished, but Yuju hadn't known that Yin had witnessed it herself. Then why are you secretly taking pictures of him? Yuju teased. Yin's face burned in embarrassment. Her shy smile made Yuju shake her head in disbelief. You like Jungkook, don't you? Yuju asked, though it was clear from Yin's expression that she didn't even need to answer. If you like him, why don't you try approaching him? Who knows, maybe your childhood love will blossom again, Yuju teased. Yin glared at her, flustered. She hadn't even mentioned anything about childhood love, but Yuju had drawn her own I don't have the courage, Yin pouted. I just want to admire him from afar. Yuju looked at her best friend with sympathy. Yin had always rejected any boy who tried to get close to her. She was so hard to win over. And now, when she had finally fallen for someone, she didn't even dare to make a move. Now Yuju understood why Yin had always turned other boys down, because her heart still belonged to her childhood friend. This afternoon, Yin and Yuju were resting in the school's back garden. Yuju pouted as her phone's battery started to die. She had been watching a makeup tutorial on YouTube. Yin, let me borrow your phone. Without thinking twice, Yin handed over her phone, and Yuju continued watching the video. After it ended, a mischievous grin spread across Yuju's face when she noticed Yin's gallery full of Jungkook's pictures. A sneaky idea popped into her head. Playfully, Yuju set one of Jungkook's photos as Yin's phone wallpaper. Then, she handed the phone back to Yin. Yin, who was busy enjoying her snacks, simply nodded and stayed focused on her food, completely unaware that her wallpaper had been changed to Jungkook's photo. A few moments later, they both jumped when the bell signaling the end of the break rang. Yin hastily shoved it into her small bag, the one she always carried with her. Usually, the small bag only contained her wallet and phone, but this time, because she was in a rush, Yin forgot to zip it properly, and without realizing it, her phone fell somewhere near the garden as they headed back to class. 4 hours later, finally, at the end of the school day, Yin returned to the garden. Where is it? Ugh, so careless. Yin grumbled at herself for being so sloppy with her phone. Earlier, when she was about to leave, she had planned to call her driver to pick her up. Normally, she would be dropped off at school by her driver, but would take a taxi home. However, today she wanted to save some allowance money, so she had intended to ask the driver to fetch her. That's when she realized her phone was missing. Naturally, Yin panicked. Yuju had already gone home because of an errand with her mother, leaving Yin alone, searching around the back garden where she believed she had dropped it. I need to be more careful next time, Yin muttered to herself. It wasn't like Yin couldn't afford a new phone. She came from a wealthy family. It would have been easy for her to ask her parents for a replacement. But the real problem was what was inside the phone, especially the countless pictures of Jungkook that would be such a loss if they were gone. Suddenly, Yin, who had been squatting down, froze when she noticed a pair of shoes standing in front of her. Slowly, she looked up. Her round eyes widened instantly, and her heart started pounding like crazy. She quickly stood up, her movements awkward, especially since the guy in front of her simply stood there, silently staring at her. What are you doing? Jungkook asked, his voice low and deep. I lost my phone, Yin stammered. There was no turning back now. Yin had to greet Jungkook, even though he was now staring at her sharply. You're the new student, right? Yin asked softly. Jungkook frowned slightly, but eventually answered, yeah. What's your name? We haven't had a chance to introduce ourselves, she said with an awkward chuckle. Jungkook raised an eyebrow. Yin's nervous and shy expression amused him. He slid one hand into his pocket while reaching out with the other to shake Yin's hand. Jeon Jungkook. Oh, Jungkook, huh? Yin replied hesitantly. I'm Hannah. She lied. On purpose. Yin didn't say her real name. From Jungkook's reaction earlier, Yin already guessed he must have forgotten her. They had been in the same school for 2 weeks now, and even though their eyes had met a few times, they had never spoken. That only confirmed Yin's belief. Jungkook didn't remember her. That's why she didn't use her real name. She felt too embarrassed. Hannah? Jungkook repeated. Seeing Yin nodding with a flushed face, Jungkook secretly fought back a smile. Would you like some help, Miss Hannah? Yin nodded cutely, her smile blooming as Jungkook joined her in searching for her phone. Every now and then, Yin would steal glances at him. She cheered inwardly. This was the first time she could be this close to him after all these years. A few minutes later, Jungkook spotted the phone. Is this your phone? He asked. Yin hurried over, feeling a wave of relief. Yes, that's my phone. Thank you, Jungkook. Jungkook didn't say anything, still quietly observing her as she took the phone from his hand. But unfortunately, in her nervousness, Yin fumbled, dropping the phone again. But this time, the screen lit up, clearly showing her wallpaper, a photo of Jungkook. Yin's eyes widened in horror. She rushed to grab it, but Jungkook was faster. He quickly scooped up the phone, ignoring Yin's frantic protests. Jungkook, give me my phone back, Yin cried, dying of embarrassment. She immediately guessed that this must be Yuju's doing, her mischievous best friend. Damn it, she was definitely going to teach Yuju a lesson tomorrow. Hold on, Jungkook said coolly. Without hesitation, he opened Yin's photo gallery, and there, he found it, countless photos of himself. Jungkook chuckled in amusement. So, You've been secretly taking pictures of me all this time? Yin pouted, her face burning bright red. She cursed her own stupidity once again. All this time, it had never occurred to her to put a lock on her phone. At home, she was an only child, so she never felt threatened by anyone snooping through her phone. Yin snatched her phone back from Jungkook's hand. This time, Jungkook didn't resist. He slid both hands into his pants pockets, staring at Yin with an intimidating gaze. None of your business, Yin snapped. Of course it's my business. It's my face you took pictures of and made into your wallpaper. Yin stayed silent, biting her lower lip. It wasn't me who changed the wallpaper. It was my best friend, Yuju. She must have secretly changed it. But it still doesn't change the fact that you've been secretly taking my pictures, Jungkook said smoothly. This time, Yin had no comeback. She fell completely silent, unable to defend herself any longer. Jungkook let out a small laugh. Her embarrassed, slightly angry expression was downright adorable to him. Are you still going to pretend, Park Yin? Yin froze in shock. Jungkook had called her Yin, not Hannah. Her whole body stiffened, her eyes widened, lips slightly parted in disbelief. Jungkook, you? Jungkook nodded, the once expressionless look on his face softening. He gazed at her gently. Yin was stunned. That gaze, it was so familiar. Back then, Jungkook had always looked at her this way, warmly, full of affection, just like now. I remember you. I recognized you since the moment you caught me beating someone up, Jungkook said, enjoying the shocked expression on Yin's face. He continued, I'm also sure you recognize me from that time, or maybe even before that. Jungkook tilted his head slightly. But why didn't you say hello to me? Instead, you ran away. Didn't we promise back then that we would greet each other whenever we met? Why did you pretend not to know me? You even introduced yourself as someone else. Yin pouted. She had been caught. There was no use denying it now. She exhaled slowly and confessed, I actually wanted to greet you. Her hands nervously fidgeted. That's why I was looking for you back then. But instead, I saw you beating up someone. I got scared, Jungkook. You were terrifying, Yin admitted. You're different from the Jungkook I used to know. You were so cold and glared at me. I didn't dare to say hello. She finally revealed all her worries. Jungkook chuckled softly. So that's why, at that time, I had no choice but to fight back because they tried to bully me for being the new student. I was only defending myself, Jungkook explained with a little laugh. If you think I've changed, it's true. I have. I've grown up. I've also gotten more handsome, Jungkook said confidently, making Yin gape at him. Jungkook laughed softly. I'm not a bad guy, but I do need to be able to defend myself. I have to protect the ones I love someday, he added meaningfully. Yin smiled in relief, her face finally softening into a bright smile. Jungkook loved it. He was mesmerized by her now more mature beauty. He could stare into her beautiful eyes forever. His little girl hadn't changed. She still had the warmth that no one else could give him. I'm so happy we got to meet again, Yin murmured, her eyes glistening. I'm happy too. Finally meeting my precious little girl again, Jungkook said, gently brushing away a tear at the corner of Yin's eye. The way Jungkook spoke and acted made her heart race wildly. She was even afraid he could hear it. Then, why did you secretly take pictures of me? Jungkook teased playfully. Yin's face turned red again. She pouted in embarrassment. Can we not talk about that? She whined cutely. Jungkook burst out laughing. He pulled Yin into his arms and hugged her tightly, resting his chin on top of her head, occasionally planting soft kisses there. Yin didn't resist. She hugged him back just as tightly, smiling as she buried her face into his broad chest. The scent of his masculine cologne seemed like it would become her new addiction. From the very first moment I saw you again, I wanted to hug you, Yin. I missed you so much, Jungkook whispered into her ear. I really missed you, you know? Yin nodded in his embrace. Me too, she said softly, then tilted her head up without letting go of him. Their eyes met. So, we're done pretending now, right? I'm tired of it, she said sweetly. I want us to be close like we used to be, Yin pleaded, not caring about her shyness anymore. Jungkook laughed. You were the one pretending all this time, not me. I was just playing along with you. Yin buried her face back into Jungkook's chest, feeling a tremendous relief now that they could be together again. Let me take you home? Yin nodded, and finally, they released their hug and started walking toward the parking lot. Yin's classroom was noisy. The teacher had left about 5 minutes ago, but all the students still had to wait until the bell rang for break time. The chatter gradually died down when a student, who had recently become the talk of the school, walked into Yin's classroom. His signature blank expression mesmerized many of the girls. They watched Jungkook closely as he walked toward the third desk from the front. right beside the window. Meanwhile, Yin was busy chatting with Yuju, her back facing the door, completely unaware of what was happening. Unlike Yin, Yuju noticed Jungkook approaching them. Yin, Yuju whispered excitedly, lightly slapping Yin's arm. "Look behind you," she said, trying hard to suppress a squeal. Yin frowned in confusion. She blinked as she realized the classroom had suddenly gone quiet. When she turned around, she gasped in shock. Jungkook was already standing behind her. He flashed a small, reserved smile that made several girls squeal inwardly in excitement. "Jungkook," Yin uttered in disbelief. "I was waiting for you outside, but you never showed up," Jungkook said casually, as if his presence wasn't causing a stir in the room. "Come to the cafeteria with me," he added. It wasn't a question, it was an invitation that Yin instinctively knew she couldn't refuse. Yin remained frozen, still in shock. Since what happened yesterday afternoon, they had exchanged phone numbers. They even video called until Yin fell asleep that night. But she hadn't expected Jungkook to casually approach her in class like this. She finally snapped out of it when Yuju nudged her elbow teasingly. Yin shot Yuju an annoyed look, then said, "Okay, let's go." Jungkook offered his hand. Shyly, Yin placed her hand in his. Jungkook immediately took her hand, pulling her out of the classroom without a care for the curious stares around them. Meanwhile, Yin kept her head down, trying to hide her embarrassment. Typical Jungkook. Yin and Jungkook were growing closer. More precisely, it was Jungkook who was actively pursuing Yin. They often spent their break times together. Jungkook even happily gave Yin rides home, willing to go far out of his way just to be with her. Their closeness caused a stir among the students, including Minju and his group. Yin, who was known for never being close to any boys, and Jungkook, the sensational new student. It was a hot topic. However, everything made more sense after Jungkook finally shared about their childhood. Many assumed they were already dating, even though, in truth, both Yin and Jungkook remained relaxed about their situation. Neither of them stressed over labeling their relationship. They were simply enjoying every moment together, just like old friends reunited. As usual, that afternoon, Jungkook was driving Yin home. They chatted casually, laughter occasionally filling the car. Every now and then, Yin would sing along to the music playing from the speakers. Jungkook chuckled softly, letting Yin do whatever she liked. But deep down, Jungkook was anxious. He had been thinking about this for a long time. He couldn't just stay as Yin's friend anymore. He wanted more. When they arrived in front of Yin's house, Jungkook stopped the car. Yin turned to him with a smile. "Come on, let's go inside. Won't you come in and have a drink?" But Jungkook didn't move. He just stared at her intensely, making Yin frown in confusion. "Jungkook, what's wrong?" Jungkook stayed silent. He unfastened his seatbelt and turned fully toward her. Yin could see the nervousness on his face, though it didn't diminish his handsomeness one bit. "There's something I want to tell you," Jungkook said. "What is it?" For some reason, Yin felt nervous too. Her heart pounded against her chest as Jungkook's gaze seemed to pin her in place. "I love you, Yin." After a few moments of stunned silence, those words finally escaped Jungkook's lips. Yin gasped, her cheeks turning pink as her eyes widened in surprise. "I've liked you since the beginning, back then, and still now," Jungkook continued. "You're the only girl I've ever let into my life. You're the only one who has ever reached my heart." He exhaled softly. "All this time, I've been waiting for the moment I could see you again. And when that moment finally came, I promised myself I would never let you go again." Yin remained frozen. She was overwhelmed, her heart swelling with emotions, her eyes brimming with tears. The sincerity in his voice left no room for doubt. "Back then, we were still kids. I didn't understand what it meant to hate being apart from you," Jungkook said softly, "but now I do. I've fallen in love with you, Yin. I want you to be my girlfriend." Tears rolled down Yin's cheeks. Her heart was bursting with happiness. She was so overwhelmed she couldn't even speak. "Hey, don't cry," Jungkook said gently, wiping her tears with his thumb. "Did I hurt you?" Yin shook her head quickly. "Not at all." Jungkook hadn't hurt her, not even a little. "I'm crying because I'm so happy," Yin said, her voice trembling. "I love you too, Jungkook. I've loved you for so long, and I still do." A wide smile spread across Jungkook's face, his heart brimming with joy. "Then, will you be my girlfriend?" Yin nodded shyly. "Yes, I want to be your girlfriend." They both smiled warmly at each other, their eyes full of love. Soon, Yin closed her eyes as Jungkook leaned closer. Their lips met in a sweet, tender kiss, both responding to each other's affection. Soft sighs echoed inside the car as Jungkook smiled against her lips. Yin's lips would surely become his new addiction. He wouldn't be able to resist kissing his girlfriend often. Jungkook pressed Yin's seatbelt button to release it, then easily lifted Yin onto his lap. He pushed his seat back to give them more room, deepening the kiss as he pulled Yin closer by her waist until no space remained between them. Yin's arms wrapped naturally around Jungkook's neck. Jungkook was forced to stop kissing when Yin lightly tapped his shoulder, a signal that she needed air. Both of them were panting, their eyes still filled with restrained passion. Jungkook chuckled breathlessly, gently brushing Yin's swollen, wet lips. "Sorry, baby, I couldn't hold myself back," he said, though there was not a hint of regret in his voice. Yin pouted adorably only to be caught off guard again when Jungkook quickly pecked the corner of her lips. Their position was still dangerous. "It'll be bad if someone sees us," Yin muttered, cheeks flaming. Jungkook laughed, finally helping Yin back into her seat before his self-control slipped again. "It's fine, we're just a couple kissing," he said with a cheeky smile. "Anyone who sees us will understand." Yin scowled lightly, her heart still racing. She quickly fixed her messy clothes and gasped when she caught a glimpse of her reflection in the car mirror. Her eyes widened in shock, her lips were swollen, and her lip tint was smudged everywhere. "Jungkook, what have you done?" Jungkook laughed heartily. His girl was just way too cute.